Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gem where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Superhuman Radio. Over the past almost 16 years, we've done a lot of shows about oral health, the mouth, and there's some interesting information out there. We talk about the microbiome a lot too, and we forget that the microbiome exists in our mouth as well. We're going to talk about the intricacies of its relationship to health and aging better today with Dr. Kourosh Maddahi. I know I butchered his last name, and he can correct me when he gets back on the air. I literally just figured out how to say it a couple seconds ago, and I forgot already. But it's going to be an interesting discussion because there's a lot of this. People are trying to figure out if what goes on in the mouth is a remnant of internal health, or if it influences internal health. My guess it's a little bit of both, as things usually are. So we'll get to the bottom of that in just a minute. We have to thank our title sponsor first, and that's Legendary Foods. If you go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use the code SHR10, you can save 10% off the single greatest snack. Forget about protein bars. The origination of this product was supposed to be a Pop-Tart, and it's become so much more. Less than 1 gram of sugar, 20 grams of high-quality protein. Amazing flavors. I have to limit myself to one a day. Otherwise, I'd eat more. And you probably will have the same problem once you start getting them. Also, during the commercial break, we will send you a free box. If you listen for the secret word, it's in between some commercials. You email the secret word to onair@superhumanradio.net. Include your mailing address. We will send you a box. Be patient. I'm real slow about harvesting these email addresses and so on because we're getting so many of them. But you can try a free box of tasty pastries thanks to the generosity of Ron Penna. So check that out. Okay. Without further delay, let me bring my guest on, and he'll teach me how to pronounce his name better, I'm sure. I'm sorry, Dr. Kourosh Maddahi. Maddahi. Okay, yes. Dr. Maddahi. Thank you so much. So,
thank you.
You position yourself as someone who is involved in anti-aging dentistry. But I think when people look at that at first blush, they think you're saying, oh, well, if you have a good smile, your teeth aren't discolored, no signs of wear, you'll look younger. But you're actually saying that oral health plays a very large and maybe even undetermined role in actually aging better, right?
Absolutely. So first of all, Carl, I want to appreciate you inviting me on the show. Big fan, great show.
Thank you.
So the whole concept that we're talking about dentistry, yes, I've written 3 books. The one started with anti-aging dentistry, which was talking about teeth and role of teeth in terms of your aging of your face. Then the next book was The Hidden Epidemics, which I started to talk about dry mouth, grinding, clenching, how it's affecting your body. And then my latest book, which is The Toxic Overload, which starts to really, really put together the connection between the oral health and whole body health. So there's absolutely a connection between mouth and whole body health, because the chewing, mastication, digestion starts in the mouth. So, and the interesting part about the mouth, I think sometimes people don't understand, is that what a quick rate of absorption there is inside the mouth. So when somebody is suffering a heart attack, they put nitroglycerin pill underneath their tongue.
Right.
Because the rate of absorption is so high. And that is mainly, it's the most vascularized part of your body. That's why any cuts in your mouth also heals very rapidly. But what that also means that anything you put in your mouth, it also gets absorbed into your body very rapidly. So we did a clinical studies, and we asked the participants through UC Irvine to rinse their mouth with a Listerine mouthwash that had some alcohol in it and also has dyes in it. And right after they rinsed their mouth with the Listerine for 60 seconds, we measured the dye and alcohol in the bloodstream after 30 seconds and after 5 minutes. Within 30 seconds, there was the alcohol that was in Listerine already in the bloodstream, and the dye was already in the bloodstream. And after 5 minutes, there was even more dye. Even though they had finished rinsing their mouth, there was even more dye in their bloodstream than 5 minutes before. So this is what we have to truly understand. Whatever you put in your mouth, it gets into your bloodstream, it gets into your gut, and it travels in many parts of your body. This is why there is a connection between people that have some sort of gum disease with heart disease, with diabetes, with early term babies, with Alzheimer. So many different aspects are happening because of what's happening in the mouth and the inflammation that's in the mouth. So this is what we want to concentrate on. So then when we're talking about superhuman, I spend a lot of my time trying to actually understand what is that concept. And Carl, when I tell you superhuman, let's go back to caves. We were living in caves,
right,
with no modern medicine.
Right.
And we had to get our food. We had to survive. We had to survive hurricanes. We had to survive cold, hot, all sorts of things. Yet we survived. We survived all of this. And now we come in the last 70 years, a lot of the things that we're going through and a lot of the diseases that are there are man-made. This is not due to nature. These are man-made issues, man-made problems.
Right.
And the primary area is the products, is the type of food, is the processed food, is what's in the water, is what is getting in and impacting our whole body. So going back to the mouth, we have to start with how did we survive throughout these years without modern medicine?
Without Listerine, without, toothbrush. Don't forget, the toothbrush was created by the Egyptians because they loved sugar and they suffered from dental caries. They had horrible, horrible problems with their teeth as a result of that. That goes all the way back to then, the message you're saying.
That's right. That's right. It goes all the way back to then. So how do we survive all these years? And the first myth I want to dispel, the first myth, is people think we live longer due to modern medicine. It's an absolute myth.
Right.
We live longer due to clean water and hygiene.
Yes. I know,
this is the reason we live longer.
Back in the early 1900s, doctors didn't even wash their hands in between delivering babies.
Yeah.
We didn't understand the role of hygiene. Sewage, modern sewage. We don't realize the things that changed our population trajectory were widely related to sanitation. We just lost Dr. Oh, there he is. Are widely related to sanitation practices that we adopted because we were living in filth before that. We were living in disease. We were living in bacteria. We were living in all that stuff. That's why back then you couldn't even spit on the sidewalk because people transmitted tuberculosis that way. So you're right.
That's exactly right. So in Africa,
hold on. The medical orthodoxy loves to tell us that we're living longer because of them. But it's not even true now anyway, because we are down close to the bottom of all developing nations in longevity. I think we've dropped down to 78 years is the average. So many other countries are way ahead of us now, and we consume 10 times more pharmaceutical drugs than any other country in the world.
That's true. That's absolutely true. That's true. So, I mean, the clear example of, if you want to see this, is that when you go to African nations, the first thing you do is you put clean water. Second is hygiene, and all of a sudden, the entirety of their life has changed. You don't have to go too far. Within our on Earth today, this is all that has to be done in order for people to live longer. So we want to then dissect this and say it's not modern medicine. So now the next question is, what are we doing that we suffer from so many different things that we didn't used to suffer? Why is there so much high rate of kidney failures in young adults? Why is there such consumption of antidepressants and anti-anxiety? Why is there so much obesity within the United States? Why is there high blood pressure and heart disease and all of these things going through the roof? Then we come back to what is called the Western diet. The Western diet is what is the number one problem that's causing all of these things. So now, if we start to segment these things and go forward, I come back to the mouth for one reason. What is the one product that you are using every single day like no other product? Is it toothpaste? Is the number one product you use every single day?
Right, twice
now
a day.
We start to
and first thing in the morning and right before bed, most people. Right.
That's exactly. I mean, you change what you eat, you change the different products, you change the drinks, you change the protein bars, all of that, but you use the same toothpaste every single day.
Right.
So what's in this toothpaste? What is it trying to do? So what I want to spend a little bit of time is looking at the science that is being used for the past 70 years in the world of dentistry that is absolutely incorrect. Is absolutely incorrect. So what we found is that the reason why you get cavities, the reason you get gum disease, the reason you get bad breath is because of certain type of bacteria in your mouth. So we decided, in order to get rid of this bacteria, to go and kill the bacteria.
Right.
We ignored the fact that 98% of the bacteria in your mouth, or for that matter, in your body, are helpful, good bacteria that you depend on in order for you to live. When I say this, I'm not saying this lightly, because the number of bacteria you have to human cells is 10 to 1. You have 10 trillion bacteria in your body to 1 trillion, 100 trillion bacteria to 10 trillion human cells. And all of these bacteria are doing and performing vital functions. The dopamine and serotonin, which is the mood transmitters, are being produced by the microbiome. Digestion is done by the microbiome. Protection is done by the microbiome. Immunity is done by the microbiome. And here we are, we go and advertise. We killed 99.9% of the germs on the bottle, on the toothpaste already. So if you look at this, and if this science was true, we shouldn't have cavities, we shouldn't have gum disease, we shouldn't have bad breath.
We still do, and we still do.
We still do.
So let me ask you,
what's wrong? What's wrong with this science?
So going back to something you opened with about the rapidity of what happens in the mouth and how it is translated to systemic responses in the body. We know that when you taste sweet, your body immediately starts to produce insulin. We know that just the chewing of carbohydrates elicits the breaking down of those carbohydrates in the mouth, and the microbes in your mouth have a large role in that. So just from what you just said, do you think there is an influence, maybe not the whole thing, but an influence on type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance, because we are killing key bacteria in the mouth that would help break down some of the carbohydrates and lower the glycemic load, if you will, of the rest of the body?
Yeah, so there is no 100% direct correlation, but there is correlations between what's happening in the mouth and diabetes for sure. There's definite correlations. Could it be is the inflammatory markers that are in the mouth? And these inflammatory markers go everywhere in the body and is causing problems with insulin production, with heart disease, with plaque buildup, with Alzheimer. Yes, there could be. There's more evidence towards inflammatory markers than just the bacteria itself. But where do these inflammatory markers come? Where does the viral load or bacteria come? Is when you start to destroy good bacteria, the load of bad bacteria and viruses goes up. So to give you a simple example, even with what we're going through with coronavirus is not one virus or two viruses. There has to be enough volume of the virus in your body for it to make you sick, right?
Right.
The way to keep viral load down is to protect the microbiome in your mouth, the microbiome in your nose. That's where you would have to do, because the microbiome is the first line of defense. People are always thinking about the immune system. Immune system follows farther back when you already have inflammation and you already have infection. What keeps you from getting infection and inflammation is the microbiome. Microbiome on your skin, microbiome in your nose, in your mouth, in your ears, in your eyes. Why don't you get eye infection every day when you're walking in all this pollution and all of these areas? You never get eye infection. It's because of the microbiome protection. Why don't you get ear infection? It's because of the microbiome inside the ear. Same thing in the mouth, right? So inflammatory markers can, again, get into the bloodstream and go to different organs. And one of the organs could be where the insulin production is taking place. So more and more, we're looking at how to reduce inflammation in your body so that the immune system is not activated. So if you tell me, what is it I'm trying to do on a consistent basis? I am trying to figure out a way to decrease inflammation. If I decrease inflammation and the immune system is not activated, I've done a great job.
Right.
Now, why is that? There were studies that showed that certain viruses need the host body in order to stay alive. Right. So without the body, virus cannot stay alive. In order for the virus sometimes to go from one place to another, it is carried through the immune system, the white blood cells, and the macrophages. They're carrying the virus to different parts of your body. So if we don't get the immune system activated, you're already ahead, because that virus doesn't come out of the dormant stage and doesn't become active also anyway. So protecting this oral microbiome, it is a key takeaway. Protecting the oral microbiome is a key. Then the second part of it, so what do we do about the harmful bacteria that is there, that is destroying the tooth, destroying the gums, and causing bad breath? What do we do? Here is the problem. If you kill them, there is toxin within the cell walls of harmful bacteria, which are the gram-negative. Yeah. Gram-negative bacteria, they have toxin in the cell wall. So you kill them, it gets released. You don't kill them, they are secreting toxins that are destroying your gum and tooth. So what do we do? So the way to go about it is, how do we neutralize the toxins of harmful bacteria? And that's the reason I created this whole product line called the Lumino Oral Essentials, which we are neutralizing the toxins of the harmful bacteria. It takes 3 to 6 months to neutralize it And the problem is, if you don't use it for 1 week, the harmful bacteria double every 20 minutes, and you're back to square zero.
Right.
But
Right.
we don't kill any bacteria, zero bacteria, which goes against 70 years of research and dental research and the focus on killing bacteria.
So let me ask you a question. Does the is the oral microbiome a remnant of the microbiome in the gut, or is it, or let me rephrase it. Is it influenced by the gut, or does it influence the gut?
Both. So I would tell you about 50 to 70% of the microbiome in the mouth is similar to the microbiome in the gut, and the mouth are similar. There is other aspects of the gut microbiome that has much more diversity because it does a lot more different things, including the digestion and including the neurotransmitters that are being produced and stimulated in the brain. So if you destroy the oral microbiome, there is an effect. And if you destroy the gut microbiome, there is an effect. There's a symbiotic relationship between the mouth and different parts of the body, including the gut. Nothing is in vacuum.
Right. So many years ago, we did shows that showed that people who developed plaque in their mouth also had high levels of plaque in their arteries. And the study attempted to assert that the plaque in the mouth was leading or influencing the plaque in the body. And I don't believe that. And I said this to the scientists. I don't believe it. I said, we know that saliva is a natural filtrate of the blood. However, I feel strongly that if when I was a young man, I used to get a lot of, I guess they call it calculus, and the bottom where my tongue stayed, it would actually fill in and make it smooth. I don't get that anymore. From cleaning to cleaning, the backs of my teeth stay very round and clean. Obviously, my diet has changed. My lifestyle has changed. A lot of things have changed from then. I'm a firm believer that if you're getting plaque in your mouth, you're getting it in your arteries. This is a good canary in the mine. If you see the plaque here, then there's a high probability you're developing plaque elsewhere. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so it's not so much the plaque in the mouth that's causing the plaque in the heart and aorta and everything, is what the plaque does, which is inflammation. Mm-hmm. That inflammation is causing problems everywhere. So when you have the plaque and you have the tartar buildup, you have chronic inflammation in your mouth, that the chronic inflammation translates it into inflammatory markers that gets passed throughout your body. Mm-hmm. So it's an indicator, and then causes something else. And what it causes, it creates problems everywhere else. That's why there's a correlation between gum disease, which is chronic inflammation.
And so it's really the inflammation that's the we should be focused on, not necessarily, because you point out there is already a bidirectional, if you will, gateway between the mouth and the system, because that's why, putting the Listerine in the mouth shows up in the blood so fast. It was once thought that when you had gingivitis, when you had gum disease, that the bleeding gums was a gateway to bring bacteria into the body. But the bacteria is going to get into the body no matter what, it sounds like. I mean, there's no way for the mouth to keep the bacteria out of the body. Good. I'm sorry.
Right. So it's interesting. So the people that have had some heart issues, valve replacements, people that have any type of joint replacement, so they have to be pre-medicated with antibiotic prior to their cleaning. These are weak areas where the bacteria in the mouth can get into the bloodstream and attack the weak areas. Mm-hmm. So you're absolutely right about bacteria gets into your bloodstream no matter what. Of course, when you have gingivitis, it gets into your bloodstream much easier.
24 hours a day. Yeah, 24 hours a day.
That's right. It has a direct port. Is a direct portal to the entire body. And if you keep the inflammation down, then there is no gingivitis. As a result, the portal gets shut down to a greater limit. So with that in mind, I want to dispel the second myth. The second myth is that as you get older, you develop gum disease. Gum disease is not age related at all. It has zero to do with age.
Mm-hmm.
It has to do, in order for you to have gum disease, you have to have gingivitis first. We know we can reverse gingivitis. Gingivitis is inflammation of the gum, and it can be reversed, right? So again, I go back to what's important is not age, is inflammation. When you reverse inflammation, you don't end up with so many of other problems, one of it being gum disease, where you get bone and gum destroyed around the teeth. So that's the second myth. People think it's age related.
Yeah, inevitable. And there's an area of science that loves to tell people it's not your fault. Just take your medication. They tell people this about gingivitis and gum disease. They tell people this about type 2 diabetes. They tell them about everything. Oh, it's not your fault. You're fat. It's not. Yeah, of course it's your fault. You're fat. You're eating. You have to eat your way to be fat. And unless somebody's force feeding you, so there's an area of science that likes to mitigate the patient's responsibility in the process of disease. That's a big mistake, because if you tell people the truth, they'll fix things. And if they don't, then God bless them. Go ahead, go. You don't really care enough. But the reality is, telling people it's not age related. It's because you're doing the wrong things should make people feel a sense of salvation. Like, oh, I can fix it. I want to do something before we go into the break. I want to plug two things. Tell me about, is it pronounced Lumino? Lumino? Your product line? Okay, so yes. You have whitening strips, you have different types of toothpaste, mouthwash. Tell the audience how this works, what it does, and how to use it.
Yeah. So again, being in Beverly Hills, cosmetic dentistry and everything, people want to have whiter teeth. The only effective ingredient, according to FDA, as a whitening product is hydrogen peroxide. But the problem is hydrogen peroxide destroys the microbiome, destroys your enamel, causes tooth sensitivity and gum irritation. So I created the whole whitening products without any hydrogen peroxide. Instead, we use coconut oil, sage oil, lemon peel oil, and the signature ingredient in all of our products is Dead Sea salt, which is responsible for that anti-inflammatory activity because of the sea salt being that. So we whiten teeth without hydrogen peroxide, and we have 51 clinical studies on all of our products, mostly done by independent university studies that shows we're as good as Crest whitening strips without any sensitivity, without any gum irritation, without any enamel damage because of lack of hydrogen peroxide. And also, we are the first and only certified non-toxic oral care, full line of oral care in the world. We do not have any ingredients that have shown any toxicity. That means it doesn't kill any of your healthy human cells. So this is the main things about the Lumino product. And the third thing is that we don't kill any bacteria. We neutralize the toxins of harmful bacteria, which is all very revolutionary ideas in a world that we're trying to kill bacteria right and left.
shrnetwork.biz/oral essentials. If you want to learn more about this product. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the book. And we have some viewer questions lining up that we'll work in. Stay tuned. You are watching Superhuman Radio and listening. We'll be right back. Being superhuman means being conscientious about the choices we make. White Oak Pastures is superhuman when it comes to raising livestock. They're committed to animal welfare, land regeneration, and rural revival. They responsibly manage the entire process from the pasture to your doorstep. High-quality, pasture-raised, great-tasting meat from a farm you can trust. Full nose-to-tail selections. They even have options for your pet. Go to shrnetwork.biz/whiteoak and use code SHR20 to save 20% off your entire first order. Knoll Creek Hemp Company's Delta 8 Soft Chews are the premier Delta 8 product on the market today. Knoll Creek's Delta 8 8 is produced from high-quality hemp-derived CBD oil, and soft chews are manufactured using proprietary nano-emulsification technique that ensures the Delta 8 soft chew will timely deliver the desired effects cleanly and consistently from piece to piece. In a space where at least 70% of the products fail to meet label claims and where most users of conventional hemp products are left disappointed, Knoll Creek's Delta 8 soft chews are a product you can trust. Visit shrnetwork.biz/Delta8. That's DELTA and the number 8, and use the code SHR20 to get 20% off your first order today. Saliva. Remember those rectangular toaster pastries you used to love when you were a kid? Well, Legendary Foods has just made them better. The new cake-style tasty pastry is like nothing you've ever had before. With 20 grams of high-quality protein and less than 1 gram of sugar, you'll feel like you're cheating, but you're not. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use the code SHR10 to save 10% off your purchase of tasty pastries. Now available in cookies and cream, red velvet cake, birthday cake, blueberry, strawberry, brown sugar cinnamon, and hot fudge sundae. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use code SHR10 today. Is there something interfering with your happiness or ability to achieve your goals? BetterHelp can help. They will assess your needs and match you with a licensed therapist. This is not a self-help or crisis line. It's professional counseling done securely online. They have a broad range of experts and are available worldwide without having to wait in an uncomfortable waiting room. Get the help you need and start living a happier life today. Go to shrnetwork.biz/betterhelp. That's better, HELP, and receive 10% off your first month of counseling when you use the code SHR. I need to share with you all a revolutionary new wearable technology called HapB. HapB allows you to enjoy the effects of caffeine, alcohol, nicotine, melatonin, and muscle relaxants without actually ingesting anything. Yes, really. They figured out the unique magnetic signature of each of these molecules and recorded them. Just put the HapB on, choose the signal you want, and it starts projecting the magnetic signature of that molecule that you choose, like coffee for feeling alert. Go to hapb.com/SHR. That's HAPBEE.com/SHR to learn more and unlock an $80 discount exclusively for the Superhuman Radio listeners.
This is the Superhuman Channel, doing reps with the weight of the world.
I have to plug a new sponsor, Delta 8 CBD. If you've tried CBD in the past and you're like, what's the big deal? It doesn't do anything for me, which most people will say to you. They're like, I think it's doing something. If you want to try a CBD that you can feel working, go to shrnetwork.biz/Delta8. That's DELTA, the number 8. Use the code SHR20 for 20% off. Knoll Creek has the single best Delta 8 product in the world, and they're going to come on the show and explain why. 70% of the Delta 8 stuff out there doesn't even meet label claims. If you have I got a buddy of mine that hasn't slept well for 35 years. He was a commercial pilot. He just retired. He takes one of their gummies an hour and a half before bed. He sleeps all night now. He never slept all night. Sleep better, improve mood, reduce anxiety, feel CBD working for the first time in your life. shrnetwork.biz/Delta8, DELTA, the number 8, SHR20 is the code. I promise you, you will email me and say, holy crap, Carl, this stuff works. Anyway, let's get back to the other thing I want to mention here, and that is your book, The Toxic Overload. In this book, you detail studies you point to that actually show that what's going on in our mouth is affecting our ability to age better, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a few seconds. I think that something that is very important in terms of the subject of nitric oxide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So people start to think about nitric oxide and they don't know exactly what it does, what it is doing, why is it important. Nitric oxide is the food for your brain. It's the oxygen that you need, the increased oxygen, the vasodilation for all the organs of your body. Nitric oxide gets produced by using the oral microbiome, converts the nitrate of eating celery, the green vegetables, celery, lettuce, spinach, arugula, into nitric oxide. And also nose breathing. So I want to take a moment also to tell you how important it is to be able to breathe through your nose and how that rest that the brain gets, the repair power of the brain when it is resting, and repairing the rest of your body, how important it is through the nitric oxide that it is being produced through nasal breathing.
Right.
Okay, so in my second book, which was the Hidden Epidemics, I talked a lot about dry mouth. And dry mouth, going back to one of the things you were talking about, modern medicine medication, there's 450 different medication that cause dry mouth. Why is that important? When you have dry mouth, your first line of defense, which is your saliva, is your natural antibiotic. When it's not there, cavity-causing bacteria goes through the roof. When that goes, the microbiome is also getting destroyed. When that is happening, nitric oxide goes down. And then you get uncontrolled cavities inside your mouth. So every time you go to the dentist, there's more cavities, more cavities,
Right.
more cavities.
Right.
And they don't know where the hell it's coming from. It's dry mouth. Breathing through your mouth, either through allergies or because you have dry mouth due to taking medications. So if somebody even takes Tylenol every day, they get dry mouth, let alone the number one things that are the psychiatric medication, which are the antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, antipsychotics, all the way down to heart medication, kidney medications, all of these things in a prolonged manner, they cause dry mouth. And if you're not doing something,
when you're in the company of somebody who's on a lot of meds, and now that I say this, people are going to pay attention to this. You notice that their lips are so dry and cracked looking because they don't even produce any saliva anymore. The poor thing. I feel sorry for these people. And in fact, we've done shows on this exact topic. I have been taping my mouth before bed. I don't know. Ron Penna influenced that decision, and it changed my life. It changed the way I sleep. You're laughing because Ron does it. He gets everybody to tape their mouth now. But really, if I go to sleep with tape on my mouth, and then sometimes Elisa will say something in the middle of the night, and I have to pull the tape off to talk, and I don't put it back on properly, and I start doing this, and I start breathing through my lips. The next morning, I'm wrecked. I don't feel as good as if my mouth was taped all night long. So I know what you're talking about here. It's really interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And so the number one thing for people to really check is to make sure they don't have a deviated septum. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people do a lot of different things, except for what needs to be done as a first thing. Check for nasal deviation. Second, check for allergies. So if you have allergies and you cannot breathe through your nose, then you got issues. And then third, also check for medications that have side effects of xerostomia, which is the dry mouth aspect.
I'm gonna give you a fourth one that you can start keeping track of. People who have silent GERD or frank GERD, people who complain about heartburn all the time, they have a few different problems that they start to develop. Dry eye, and they'll start to have their nose will be stuffed all the time. The signature of this particular disorder is if they cough, like, because when something comes up in their throat, they get this raspy feeling in their esophagus, they cough. Then all of a sudden, minutes later, their nose gets stuffed up. It's because the caustic fumes of the hydrochloric acid in the stomach is coming up, hitting the tissue in the nasal passages and swelling them up instantly. So if you know you have GERD, or you have silent GERD, you have a lemony taste in your mouth all the time, you just can't explain what it is. The esophageal sphincter is leaking, and that caustic gas is coming up, and it's going to plug your nose and give you dry eye. A lot of people have dry eye. They can't figure out why they have dry eye. Once they address this, all that stuff north of it goes away.
Yeah, GERD, even inside the mouth, it creates a lot of problems, including destruction of enamel and chronic inflammation. So again, this is the exact symbiotic relationships that there is between gut and the mouth. This is another example that you brought up. So key aspects is to really making sure that you're not suffering from dry mouth. And what if you are on certain medication that you cannot get rid of, but you have dry mouth? So number one, again, the next myth that I'm going to talk to you about. So people that have dry mouth, they drink a lot of water. I need to be hydrated. Water dilutes the little saliva you have that creates even worse condition in terms of dry mouth.
Mm.
So water and moisture in the mouth is very different than saliva. Saliva is a completely different thing. It provides moisture as one function, but it does so many other things. So if you constantly feel like in the middle of the night you have to drink water, you have to put a cup of water by your bed. When you get up in the morning, your mouth is dry, you have to drink water. There's dry mouth symptoms already, and we got to find out what it is and get to the bottom of it. Otherwise, there's so many other breakdowns that happen, including the nitric oxide reduction, including cavities, including chronic inflammation in the mouth. That all of these things contributes to aging, right? Contributes for you not to feel that superhuman rested feeling that you want to have.
Where are the saliva glands, Doc? Where are they?
They're under the tongue, in your cheeks, under the tongue, back of your tongue. That's where they are.
I wonder if there's been any research about cellular telephone radiation affecting saliva glands.
I have not seen any.
That would be interesting to find out. That would be interesting to find out. We can't eliminate this constant transmitter that we wear on our body. You know, I mean, wearing it over your heart and your shirt pocket can actually disrupt the rhythm of your heart. So it's doing things. It's doing that. That would be just curious. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in taping the mouth, and that taping the mouth eliminates dry mouth because you're not breathing through your mouth all night long and drying it out. So that's one thing. Let's
right. So
Go ahead. Go. No, you go.
And as interesting. So Ron told me also about taping of the mouth. He was laughing and telling me, "Don't you tape your mouth when you go to sleep?"
People think we're crazy when we talk.
It's a great way of knowing.
Yeah.
So breathing through your nose is very key. Again, I just want to end off on that. Just you got to breathe through your nose. Nitric oxide production due to breathing through your nose and not destroying the oral microbiome to turn nitrates into nitric oxide so that you have better heart function, better oxygen. Very, very important for athletes. That's why athletes are always being told, do not use mouthwash, because they know the mouthwash destroys the oral microbiome. That was the point.
And, there was a period of my life, probably I was in my mid-40s, that I started gargling with Listerine every morning because I wanted that fresh eucalyptus taste and smell. And in about a month and a half, I developed some severe GI problems. My stomach, I didn't feel good. I wasn't digesting food. And I'm very observant as a human being anyway, in general. And I thought, I'm just going to stop the Listerine and see. And sure enough, once I stopped the Listerine, and about a month later, everything went away. The other problem with a lot of these mouthwashes, like when I was in Mexico, they actually had triclosan, triclosan, however you want to pronounce it, in mouthwash there. Mm. And triclosan has been associated with some really bad health outcomes for humans. And it's antimicrobial. And the only difference between an antimicrobial and an antibiotic is the dose and the duration. So if you take an antimicrobial every single day, everybody knows, antibiotics, and you stay away from them. But then they use antimicrobials in their mouth, and they don't realize this is an antibiotic if you use it often enough and long enough. That's it.
Right. So it's a great point you bring up, because a lot of the seminars that I talk about, I ask people, how many of you take antibiotics every day? No one's hand goes up. And I said, you're all taking it. Almost 24 hours a day you're exposed to it. And they said, what do you mean? I said, from the hand sanitizers that you use to the mouthwash, toothpaste, washing detergent, dishwasher, cleaning products in your home are all full of antimicrobial type of ingredients that are in it. And then we go to food. Even the organic food still has some pesticide. Pesticide is antimicrobial. all the pesticides that there is. So it's constantly you're being consuming it. And
herbicides, glyphosate, Roundup, Monsanto's flagship product. Monsanto has 2 patents on glyphosate plus amoxicillin for use in humans, because glyphosate is an antimicrobial, but in large enough doses, it's an antibiotic. Now, if you're going out there and you're buying conventionally grown produce, especially corn and stuff like that, wheat, it is bathed in glyphosate, and then you eat that. Yeah. You're basically having an antibiotic every single day in your life without realizing it.
Absolutely. It is absolutely true. So that's why the whole food system is tainted. The water system is tainted. As a result, it seeps through. And a lot of people are also asking me, why don't you use fluoride in your toothpaste?
Horrible.
And one of the things I got to tell you is that fluoride is in everything you eat because it's in the water. Even your cereal has fluoride.
Good
broccoli,
point.
Potato, everything has fluoride because it's already in the water. So if you go on the CDC website, they're talking about fluorosis. People are having too much fluoride, and where the hell this fluoride is coming from everything that they're eating, is seeping through the body. So we sometimes don't pay attention to how all of these things are getting through to us and getting through our body, and we're not paying attention to the water and the food sources. And it's all tainted with either pesticides, herbicides, or fluoride, or any other things that you can imagine.
I want to plug the book before we go into this break, because when we come back, we have questions that I want to work into the show, because we have loyal followers who watched the show. If you go to shrnetwork.biz/toxic overload, all one word, you can learn about the book Toxic Overload. It's loaded with studies and resources, and it shows you a 30-day plan to a healthy lifestyle. So check that out. Those of you who are patiently waiting for your questions, we will get to them after the break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Every day, there's a new wellness trend. Eat that, do this, avoid those. How do you know where to start or who to trust? Inside Tracker helps you cut through the noise by analyzing your blood, your DNA, your lifestyle, and your fitness tracker to provide you with a science-backed, trackable action plan on how to live, age, and perform better. Personalized, one-size-fits-one recommendations to help you optimize you. For a limited time, Inside Tracker is offering Superhuman Radio listeners 25% off the entire store. Go to shrnetwork.biz/inside tracker, INSIDETRACKER, to save 25% off. Change begins on the inside. Saliva. Whether your goal is to build muscle or burn fat, you'll find everything you need at Redcon One. Need help getting a good night's sleep? Try Fade Out, or the most popular pre-workout supplement on the market today, Total War. Sign up for their new Transformation Challenge and win $10,000, or shop for apparel that people at the gym will know that you are serious about your training. Need a testosterone booster that works? Check out Boomstick. Whatever you need, you'll find the best quality supplements on the market at Redcon One. Go to redcon1.com. That's REDCON1.com, or go to superhumanradio.net and click the Redcon One banner ad today. If there is one mineral you should be worried about not getting enough of, it's magnesium. Magnesium is the body's master mineral, powering over 300 critical reactions, including detoxification, fat metabolism, energy, and even digestion is influenced by the presence of magnesium. That's why I'm so excited to tell you about a new magnesium product I've been taking now called Magnesium Breakthrough. It's the ultimate magnesium supplement, easily the best I've ever seen or experienced. With all 7 forms of magnesium, I was able to arrange an amazing deal for my audience, and I guarantee it's the best deal available on this product. Seriously, with volume discounts combined with our custom 10% coupon code SHR10, you can save up to 40% off select packages of Magnesium Breakthrough. And I promise that this deal is only available on this specific website, magbreakthrough.com/SHR. You won't find that deal on Amazon or even on the company's own website. Go to magbreakthrough.com/SHR and use code SHR10 to save up to 40% off select packages packages of Magnesium Breakthrough. Attention meat lovers. I've discovered a snack with just 2 ingredients, meat and salt. That is so tender and delicious, you almost can't believe it. That's right. No soy, sugar, or other crap. Our partner, Carnivore Snacks, nailed it with these mouth-watering snacks. They have a variety too. Ribeye, pork loin, leg of lamb, and more, all sourced here in the USA from regenerative farms. Claim your superhuman offer from Carnivore Snacks today at shrnetwork.biz/snacks. That's SNAX. Use the code superhuman for 15% off your first order plus a free 2-ounce pork loin.
New Mass Pro Synthogen X2 just upped its own legendary game. To distance itself even further from the rest of the pack, Synthogen X2 now has double the key active ingredients. If you've ever wondered what steroid-like recovery feels like, Synthogen X2 delivers. See why others compare it favorably to powerful bodybuilding drugs at synthogen.com. Mass Pro Synthogen. When you train with it, you'll gain with it.
This is the Superhuman Channel. Evolution just got kicked up a notch.
Welcome back to Superhuman Radio, talking with Dr. Kourosh Maddahi. Right? Did I say it properly that way? Maddahi?
Maddahi.
I'm going to be out in California soon. You can teach me. Okay. Excuse me.
All right.
Let's get some questions here. So, excuse me. The first one that's worthy of Corwin McLeod says it's so hard to find drinks with low or no sugar. Yeah, it's called water. That's it. I saw on a video today a very popular soccer player. I don't know his name because I don't watch soccer. And he had 2 bottles of Coca-Cola in front of him for a press conference.
Yeah.
Did you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Rolando, Christian Rolando.
Yeah, he picked them up and he pushed them away. And he said, aqua, water. And he put it down. And they said that Coca-Cola's stock plummeted immediately at that moment in time.
It lost $4 billion in valuations. That's correct.
I mean, water. All I drink is water. I mean, I buy it by the gallon because it's easy for me to keep track of how much I've gotten in for the day. But I don't drink anything but water and the occasional Negroni. When I want to drink, I'll have a Negroni, but that's it. Robert Thompson says, how does the state of intergumentary skin, nails, hair indicate overall health? I don't even know what that is. I mean, your teeth obviously can tell you if you're healthy. Your mouth can tell you if you're healthy.
Yeah. So in a lot of the things, I think in the future, one of the best areas of finding out how healthy you are is definitely through the saliva. And there's already some linkage that you can find early signs of lung disease through what's going on in the mouth, what's going on with the saliva. There's also issues with other things that you can pick up in the saliva, but we go back all to inflammation. If we can reduce the inflammation, overall, you're going to be healthier everywhere.
Okay. And then he says, what about 20-minute flush with coconut oil? Thanks to you, I will add Redmond sea salt. But Dead Sea salt is different than the sea salt you buy at the store. I swam in the Dead Sea, and I went in the Dead Sea mud too. It's different. Go ahead, talk to that.
Yeah. So I want to talk about. First of all, flushing with coconut oil or sesame seed oil, all of that is good. The only problem that I saw that people do oil pulling is when you do 20 minutes of it, unfortunately, there's a lot of pressure on the muscles. And overall, there's a lot of pressure on the joint after a while. You can get muscle fatigue, joint fatigue. Mm-hmm. So the reason I also developed this with these types of oil in it was how can I reduce to the use of it to 60 seconds for it to be effective. So yes, oil pulling, coconut oil for 20 minutes is great. It's just the impact on the joint. And then the question about Dead Sea salt. Dead Sea salt is the salt that has the highest level of minerals. Dead Sea is the lowest point on Earth, which is 246 meters below sea level. And so when you're talking about the table salt, it has 2% mineral. Sea salt has 20%. Himalayan salt has 40%, and then Dead Sea salt has 84% minerals. And that's what's so important.
So, for those of you who have never swam in the Dead Sea, if you can't swim and you're afraid of swimming, the Dead Sea is where you want to swim because you can't sink. I was a big guy when I went to Israel and I went to the Dead Sea. This was before I started losing weight. This is right before I had my heart problem. So I was probably at least 300 pounds. I got in the Dead Sea. It was comical. I was on top of the water. My body would not go down because the water is so dense. There's so much minerals solved into it that it moves like water, but it's more like gel. It really is. It really is. It's amazing. Amazing.
That's right.
Craig Hollander points out that we have more chemicals in our food than any other country. We remove these chemicals when we sell them to other countries that won't accept them. We also have the most cancer. That's an interesting point. So we will grow crops without glyphosate and ship foods to countries where glyphosate is illegal to use, but we sell it to the American people. That's sad. So sad.
That's right. So even with whitening products with hydrogen peroxide, peroxide is also a banned substance in most of Europe. So you would have to do something without a hydrogen peroxide. It is true. What is being sold in the US is a lot of it is banned in other countries, including also some of the fillings replacing. So mercury fillings are banned in most of Western Europe, yet it is still permitted in the US. 900,000 silver fillings are being placed every year, but yet you cannot, in Germany, Italy, Japan, Switzerland, you cannot do any silver fillings.
And I recently did a mercury urine analysis, and I have amalgam fillings, and I have to have them removed, I was told, because there is mercury in me. And that's where it's coming from. Because, I'm 63 years old. Some of these were put in when I was a young man. I've had them for 40 years.
Right. And so you have to do safe mercury removal, because when you go in and you drill on it, you get more exposed to mercury that goes into your body. So you have to have oxygen.
They have to have
rubber
a vacuum,
dams.
The mouth dam, the rubber, the vacuum, and all that sort of stuff. Robert Thompson says nicotine gum was giving him dry mouth, so he will stop now. Have you heard that the nicotine gum causes dry mouth?
Yeah, I have heard of nicotine gum, cannabis for sure, a lot of dry mouth. Again, if there is something, also I just want to tell you, if there is something going on with dry mouth and people cannot actually do something about it, they have to take a dry mouth mouthwash. We also do sell a dry mouth mouthwash that increases saliva, not moisture, increases saliva. And the way we're increasing saliva is coconut oil, grapeseed oil, and cayenne pepper oil. Cayenne pepper oil is an irritant that increases the saliva in the mouth. And then we did head-to-head studies with biotin. So you have to increase the saliva. It's very, very important to rinse with that type of a mouthwash.
And is that one of the products in Lumino?
Yes, it is. So we have a sensitivity. We have a clean and fresh for people that are not interested in whitening. It's a microbiome also kit that we have, but all of the products are microbiome safe. But we have a sensitivity, and we also have a dry mouth. That's not in these pictures. And then we have a kid's toothpaste as well, which is in this picture.
If you go to shrnetwork.biz/oral essentials, you'll probably find it there pretty easily.
That's right.
Let's get back to the question.
And on Amazon as well.
Okay. Let's see. Craig Hollander says, unfortunately, we have a revolving door between Monsanto, Bayer, and the USDA. Yeah, I did a post a long time ago, and it said, government and industry are like conjoined twins that share one heart. And in order to separate them, somebody's got to die, and nobody wants to die. So we're never going to separate them. It's always going to be that way. But we vote every day with our dollars. People don't understand that. If we coordinate the way we spend our money, we get people to change the things that they offer us. My dentist might mix Hibiclens with a cheap mouthwash. I use it daily for a few years. I don't even know what Hibiclens is. Hibiclens. Have you heard of that?
I don't know either.
Yeah,
I haven't.
Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Okay, Carmela Cierzo says, What about charcoal toothpaste? That's the new big thing.
Yeah, I'm absolutely against it. Mainly charcoal, activated charcoal. It's abrasive and it is a bit acidic. And the charcoal particles gets underneath the gum, very, very difficult to clean. And there is absolutely no studies that shows charcoal toothpaste has any benefits and has any whitening benefits. It is sort of something that's been made up.
You know why I think people think it's whitening? Because when you brush your teeth with it, the contrast of what they look like with the charcoal on and then with it removed, you're like, oh my God, my teeth look so white. Yeah, they're not covered with charcoal anymore. Sure, they're white. Last one here. Any truth to the xylitol preventing cavities? What do you think?
Yeah. So one of the products, one of the ingredients that we use also in our products is xylitol. So xylitol in certain countries, in the Scandinavian countries, xylitol is being given to pregnant women while they're pregnant because they may lose some of the calcium from their teeth and have cavities. It is being used in other countries as a cavity reducing. In the United States, FDA has not fully approved it as a cavity prevention, but you need to have enough for it to have the cavity prevention. That's why we have some in our toothpaste, some in our mouthwash. Combination of all of these together makes sense. But if you don't consume enough, it doesn't do anything.
Okay. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. So Elisa was a dental hygienist in college, and then she went to work. She used to sell the brackets and the bands and the brackets and all that sort of stuff too. Orthodontists. She worked for a very big company back then called GAC, and I think they have been purchased by Henry Schein now. And so since I've been with her almost 12 years now, my oral health has gotten so good. I brush with an ultrasonic toothbrush. We use a toothpaste that doesn't have any fluoride or any of the ingredients that have been identified as not being needed. And there's quite a few products out there like yours. And when I first started having my teeth cleaned, I had some really deep pockets, which is not a good thing. But Rachel, the girl who does my teeth now, I have all ones. So you can reverse gum disease completely.
Absolutely.
Completely.
Absolutely.
It doesn't happen overnight. It may take a couple years, but if you're moving in the right direction, who cares how long it takes?
Absolutely. It's true. As long as you don't think it's age related.
Yeah, no, nothing's age related to me, baby. No.
You're a clear example of one.
Yeah. I want to thank you for coming on the show. Thank you so very much.
You're very
welcome.
I
hope people will go to use the links, check out the product, show them some love. And that's it for me today. It's a nice day here. I'm getting on the motorcycle and I'm going for a ride. See everybody Monday. And thank you so much. Share the show. Please share the show around. Please share the show around.